Okay, so we have a challenge as music teachers to now teach online, as many of us are isolated at home. And I am going to put in this video a few of my ideas about this and what I think works well. Okay, so the first issue is the equipment that one uses and the basic setup. And for obvious reasons, this could range from anything from a smartphone to a more elaborate setup where you have, say, maybe a PC, a remote microphone and headphones, which I think is probably the best setup really if you want to do this properly. Then I think we need to consider the idea of the weakest link. So this only works as well as the quality of the weakest link. So if you have superb equipment but a lousy internet connection, you're going to have problems. If you have great equipment, lousy internet, or say good internet maybe, but a poor instrument, that could be an issue as well. And that's going to be the same on your students' side of the equation as well. So that is just something we have to deal with and try to persuade the students we work with remotely to improve their equipment to the best possible. Okay, then the next question is the platform that one uses to conduct this internet teaching. A lot of people have been talking about Zoom. It has the advantage of an original sound setting, which means that it's not geared purely for voice. It will accept background noise without fading it out or things like that. So that's quite a good option. But when I've tried it, in all honesty, I don't think it's still good enough, certainly not for piano. Maybe vocal teachers have expressed satisfaction with it, but piano just doesn't seem to really work very well. Of course, there are other platforms like Skype and FaceTime. I've tried them all. The only one I haven't tried is Microsoft Teams. And these all are much of a muchness as far as I'm concerned. The sound is pretty rubbish. The video element, the visuals are not bad. But my preferred option is to use a separate platform for audio. Now, everything I'm discussing is basically free. It is possible, if you're prepared to part with large sums of money, to get an integrated video audio package that is of a very high standard, but that can be quite pricey. So what I found works best is to do the audio through a platform called Source Connect, and I will explain more about that in due course. And the thing is as long as you've got a reasonable bandwidth, you can add the visuals separately on Skype, remembering to mute the connection. And that is my preferred solution, to do the sound with Source Connect and the visuals with Skype or FaceTime. You could even use a separate bit of equipment if you don't want to do it all through your PC. You could use the PC or laptop for the Source Connect, and you could use a phone or something through a separate connection. You could even use 4G if you have enough data to do the visuals. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to demonstrate what I think is a very obvious difference between the sound quality that you can achieve through Skype, as an example, and then through Source Connect. So bear with me and we'll have a change of scene. Okay, so this is a typical teaching setup, and this is what it sounds like on Skype. And just for a bit of dynamic range to see what happens there. So that's Skype. Okay, so we discovered that using Source Connect with Skype had a few issues. It wasn't bad, but I think the Skype seemed to take some of the bandwidth away from Source Connect. So we're using Google Hangouts, and that seems to be better. And a little bit of Beethoven for dynamic contrast. And then finally, what I want to do is just talk you through the setup from the teacher's point of view, and then also just consider what it's like for the student. Source Connect is quite easy to find. We'll put a link to it in the description below. And then once you're on it and you've created an account, which is all fairly normal stuff, you start connection, press on that. You select the best quality normally, which is 512 kilobits per second in stereo, and then you connect, and it's now loading up, and then finally you invite your student. So there's a button on the screen which you'll see, it says invite, and you can put your student's name. I'm not sure that's totally necessary, but you can do that. And I think there's even a possibility of emailing your student rather through the source. Well, it's called Source Elements here, but it's also called Source Connect. But I prefer to just click on the copy to clipboard option and put that in an email and send that to my student. And you also have to tell them to use the pass key, which you can reveal by looking at it there. By pressing the show button, you can see what it is, and just let them know what that pass key is. Right, from the student point of view, they receive the email, they click on the link. It's simpler for them. They don't even have to set up an account. All they have to do is fill in the pass key and join the grid, and then you'll see the two boxes with each person's audio signal. And as I say, it is just audio. If you want the visual, then you can use whatever platform you prefer. As I said, from my experience, Google Hangouts seems to work pretty well.